Hello and welcome back to Real Fast English. In this video, we're going to answer a viewer's question about the verbs will versus must. Now the viewer asked, how can I use will for making a guess in the present? I'm confused about when to use will and must in this situation. Now this is a great question because these are very important verbs in English. So let's dive into the details. Now, will and must are part of a set of verbs known as English modal auxiliary verbs. And the main verbs in English in this category are can, may, shall, will, and must. And then we also have the preterite forms could, might, should, and would. Now, an auxiliary verb in English is special because we can reverse the order with the subject to ask a question. For example, I can finish the race. Can I finish the race? I will do my homework. Will I do my homework? You know, this is a question. We're not sure. Then we have the modal auxiliary verbs, which means these are verbs that deal with probability and obligation, which is what today's question is all about. So if we compare these verbs, we go from the lowest to the highest level of obligation or probability in this order. Can, may, shall, will, and must. Now in formal business contracts, the word shall is very important. And before teaching English, I used to work as an engineer. And when we were writing contracts, the senior engineers would make a very strong point about using the word shall properly in these documents. But in casual, informal spoken communication, we rarely use the word shall. English natives will almost always use the word will. So let's see some examples of increasing levels of probability and obligation. So we have, I can eat that. I may eat that. I will eat that. I must eat that. Now in the first case, I can eat that. I'm saying that it is possible for me to eat the food, but it is unclear at all whether I'm going to do it or not. Then with I may eat that food, this suggests that I'm thinking about eating the food, but I haven't decided yet. I may eat it, but I'm not sure. I'm saying now that there is a chance that I'm going to eat the food. Then with I will eat that, this suggests a much higher level of probability. It is now definitely my plan to eat the food. I do want to eat it, and I'm going to. But then if we want to express an even higher level of a sense of obligation, we can say, I must eat that. Now there is almost no choice. Maybe I haven't eaten for days and I'm so hungry, I simply must eat it. Now there is a huge level of commitment to eating the food. Next, now that we have a feeling for the levels of probability, let's look at the preterite forms and how they work in English. So if we change the examples from earlier to I can go to the gym, I may go to the gym, I will go to the gym, and I must go to the gym. Now imagine that I say this to my brother. He says, what are you doing today? And I give one of these statements. Now, then the next day, imagine someone asks my brother, hey, what did Andrew say yesterday? He could say, Andrew said he could go to the gym. Andrew said he might go to the gym. Andrew said he would go to the gym. And then for must, we don't have a preterite form. And in general, the best way to say this in the past would be to use the verb had. So Andrew said he had to go to the gym. So had plays this role of talking about the strongest level of probability when we're talking about actions in the past. Now also, remember I said earlier that we don't use shall in informal spoken communication. Well, this is true, but we do still use the preterite form should. For example, Andrew said he should go to the gym. And this sentence is difficult to place in order with probability because should implies that this is something that I need to do, but it doesn't tell us about whether I'm going to or not. So it could go above, he might go to the gym. Now, you may have noticed in that last sentence, I used could. and it had nothing to do with the past. So we can use these preterite forms in the present if we are talking about expressing the likelihood or the probability that something is true. For example, imagine we want to know where our friend Sarah is, but we aren't 100% sure. So we have to guess. Now we could say Sarah could be in the library, Sarah may be in the library, Sarah might be in the library. Now these three sentences are interchangeable. They have a similar level of probability. So if someone says could, may, or might, then they are guessing with a medium level of probability. Then if we want to make this statement a little stronger and someone asks, hey, where is Sarah? You can respond with Sarah will be in the library because she always goes to the library at this time of day. Now this carries a higher level of probability since we know from Sarah's routine that she is often in the library at this time. Now here we use will in combination with some evidence to make a statement of probability that is stronger than just simply guessing, she might be in the library. But then we can still make an even stronger statement. Again, if someone asks, hey, where is Sarah? We could say she must be in the library because I just called her and she's not answering her phone. And maybe we know that Sarah always answers her phone except when she's in the library. So here, we still don't know with 100% certainty that Sarah is in the library, but we have very strong evidence from her not answering her phone that she must be there. I mean, Sarah must be in the library because why else is she not answering her phone? Now, the last aspect of this topic is talking about guessing in the present moment with reference to a past action. So imagine you get to a train station and there is no train waiting on the platform. And you try to guess, hey, where is the train? Now you could say, the train could have already left. The train might have already left. The train would have already left. The train must have already left. And of course, when we have the verb have like this in English with an auxiliary verb, we can also say these in the contracted forms. So the train could have already left. The train might have already left. The train would have already left. The train must have already left. Now again, we go from lower probability with could have being a simple guess to higher probability where must have is usually combined with some really strong evidence. Like we know that the train is supposed to depart at 3 p.m. and it is currently 3:15. So the train must have left already 15 minutes ago. It is very likely that this is the case. Okay, so hopefully this answers the viewer's question about the choice between will and must for making predictions in the present, as well as talking about predictions on recent events, and also using it just to talk about probability and obligation in general. Now, if you have any questions or topics you would like me to discuss, please leave them in the comments section below. Now, if you enjoyed this lesson, then please give the video a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Okay, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.